appreciate everybody coming tonight. My name is Ethan O'Shea. For the few of you I don't know, I have the honor of being the president of the trial lawyers section of the Montgomery Bar Association this year. And it is my privilege to be here before you, for the trial lawyers section, to present the 2008 James P. Fox Trial Lawyer of the Year Award to our own Montgomery County District Attorney, Kevin Steele. I'd like to extend a special welcome to President Judge Del Ritchie and the members of our bench. There are several here, and I don't want to miss anyone, so I'm going to name no one. But our bar, and particularly our trial lawyer section, certainly appreciates the support we always receive from our bench. To my fellow lawyers, friends and family, to Kevin's son and his babysitter, welcome. I also know that we have several prior James P. Fox Award winners here. I'm looking at one, Mr. Troy. I think there's a few others in here, Mr. Pugh, Mr. Lupin. I dare not forget Mr. Lupin. Our only undefeated trial lawyer, Mr. Cage, is with us today. You I know, at least, had a draw in your career, but we have one undefeated trial lawyer. We follow in the footsteps of giants. A special welcome to Angie Fox and Craig Fox. Angie is the wife of I did not have the pleasure of knowing your husband, but from everything I've heard from other lawyers who did, the loss is mine. You honor us and his memory by being here. Thank you. Every year, our section honors a trial lawyer of the year. Sometimes it is because that trial lawyer has done something special in the year. Sometimes it's to honor a trial lawyer who has had a special career. This year, it was a fairly easy decision to make, unless you had been living in a box. The past 2 years for our district attorney have been rather extraordinary. Our Attorney General, Cosby 1, Cosby 2. Most of us will go our entire careers with not having a trial like that. Mr. Steele had 3 of them in 2 years. I don't recall seeing a lot on CNN or other talk shows poking fun at the prosecution or the trial judge or the court for that matter, our trials, unlike some other noteworthy trials. And that is a credit to Kevin and his office and our courts, and I congratulate you for that. It was not simply the results of those trials, it was the charging decision. It was the manner in which the cases were prosecuted. But it was certainly not just those 3 cases that bring Kevin before us today. And you don't step into a courtroom finding yourself able to prosecute a case like this. Kevin has been working his entire career toward those moments. Unlike me, who went to college without much of a clue what I wanted to do with my career, I went to law school because I recalled that my 9th grade social studies teacher said, "Ethan, you should be a lawyer one day." Kevin knew what he was meant to be. Kevin went to George Washington University, where I went to law school, by the way, and obtained a Bachelor of Arts in Criminal Justice because he knew where he was going. He went to the Dickinson Law School knowing he wanted to be a career prosecutor. I know that tonight, and I knew that in years past, because it turns out that my wife graduated Dickinson Law School with Kevin. So I approached Susie before tonight, because I really only know Kevin as the straight-laced prosecutor we always see. I don't know him on a personal level. All that. So I said, Susie, there's got to be a little story you can give me. Pre-social media days that we can use, maybe even a little scandalous. Well, there's nothing. He is apparently the straight-laced prosecutor now, as he was the straight-laced law student then, or my wife just wasn't getting out very much. He spent a few years in the Dauphin County District Attorney's office before, happily for all of us and all the citizens citizens of Montgomery County joining the Montgomery County District Attorney's Office about 24 years ago, and worked his way up through the ranks until finally becoming our elected district attorney just a couple of years ago. His son is here, as I've said before. I know to you, he's just dad, right? He's dad, he's nothing special. Maybe he's an okay dad. Your father is extraordinary, and you should know that. Not only because you saw him on TV more than a few times, and in the past couple of years, a lot of times, but while he was successfully prosecuting Cosby, our Attorney General, he was also running one of the largest district attorney's office in the state. He was dealing with an opioid crisis that takes people from us every day. He was overseeing the thousands of what I'll call routine prosecutions that his office handles every day. And he does so with dignity, professionalism, and with excellence. The James P. Fox Award is given not only to someone who has excellent trial skills, as we all know Kevin does, but to quote from that award, it is presented to a lawyer who has demonstrated exceptional skill as a litigator and trial lawyer, recognizing not only courtroom skills, but a dedication to the profession, promoting a positive image through his or her demeanor, service, and integrity. And that is most certainly Kevin Steele. When I sent a note to Craig Fox a couple of weeks ago, just reminding him about tonight's event and inviting his family, he received a note from Jim's sister, Melissa. Daughter, I'm sorry. Jim's daughter, Melissa, who asked me to read it to everyone tonight. And this speaks volumes about Kevin, not only as a trial lawyer, but as a person and as a professional. Melissa writes, "It's particularly special to Dad's family that Kevin is receiving this award. Kevin was the very first person to send a note to Dad after his lung transplant surgery. Dad hung it on the wall at the hospital. It meant more to Dad than I can say, particularly, as Dad pointed out, since Dad was a defense attorney and it came from a prosecutor. The fact that Kevin had immediately stopped whatever he was doing to share a few caring words was something that Dad noticed and greatly appreciated. I will definitely remember and appreciate it always." I don't know a better way to say congratulations than by ending with that tribute. And on behalf of the Trial Lawyer section, I present you with the James P. Fox Trial Lawyer of the Year Award.
Do I have to stand behind? For you? I hate these, right? You know, this is not what we do.
Come on close.
All right, thanks. Look, I am very humbled by this, and looking around the room, and to have you here, Ms. Fox. You know, this is very, very special, and you know, I accept this, though, knowing that, you know, I didn't do this on my own. I have this incredible staff of people in the DA's office that are exceptional, and exceptional in what they do every single day. And we have had some difficulties, and Ethan spoke about, you know, the opioid crisis and what we have had to deal with in this, and it's taken extraordinary measures by folks that do this day in, day out, and work very hard to address it, with our drug delivery resulting in death. And I note that, you know, I'm very proud of our office in that I don't think it's just one of the best in the state. I think it's one of the best in the country. And you look at what we've been able to do, and the fact that we've been out talking statewide on drug delivery resulting in death and investigations on that. Whether we're looking at the doctor cases and working with the Attorney General's office in HIDA to go after those that are peddling poison and doing it with a prescription pad. And this week on Thursday and Friday, I'm at Penn speaking on innovations in prosecution, on officer-involved shootings, and that's a national summit that they're calling. So, I look around and I look around the things that are happening in the office, and that's because of the dedicated efforts of all the people that we have. I'll also say that in that and in that work, and sitting here being surrounded by litigators, I'll share something that I think I've learned as we've gone through some of these trials and tribulations. And if you'll bear with me, I'll use an analogy from rowing. I have a picture in my office of the best boat that I was in college, and what it took for that crew to be successful was a willingness to push beyond what you think you're capable of, a willingness to move as one in a team effort, and to trust one another. And I look around the room, and I got to point out a couple folks from our team here, with Tanya standing there, who tried wire cases with me, and Tom, who's tried murder cases with me. The work that has been done in that regard, and to get to the level, takes those Herculean efforts at times. Where's Kelly Lloyd? Did she leave for teaching? I mean, she tried one of the biggest drug cases we've had in Montgomery County with me last year, and it took like that effort. But I know, and Ethan mentioned a couple of these high-profile cases that we've seemed to have, and you mentioned charging decisions in that regard. Look there for those, because she did that and then went on the bench. But in that, and in those cases in particular, I've had some incredible partners to that, and one standing over to my left here, Michelle Henry, who is as good as it gets anywhere, and she partnered with me on the Kane prosecution, and my other partners in the back, Stu Ryan and Kristen Fedden in the Cosby case. Those cases take a willingness to push beyond what you think you're capable of, and that means working nights, weekends, being home after your family has gone to bed, and being up and out before they wake up. And I look at my wife and my mother, who stand on either side of my son there, and know that they're the real heroes, because they keep everything together while we're doing what we do. But you look at the effort that it took along those lines, and then you go to the second component I mentioned, in terms of working together and moving as one. And that's staying true to the themes that you have in a case, and sticking with it, and not letting any of the other stuff get in and affect what we're doing, and then trusting each other. And I can't emphasize that enough, that when you have partners to the level that I have had, and you can just say, you got this, I got this, and you do it and you move through it in a way that that no one has any question that it's the right thing, and I think that's important. I mean, you all saw, and I guess anybody in 1 Montgomery Plaza saw more than I did, because out your windows there was a little bit of media attention across there. My window looks out another part, so I didn't see any of it. And we got to go in and out the courtroom in a different way. But to do all of those things, from the charging decision and the opening of the investigation, first off in July of that year, and then the December charging decision, and moving through the case. And that was 33 months from time it started until the time of the sentencing, and we dealt with a lot of people in both cases. You know, in the Kane case and the group of attorneys that they brought in, including John Gotti's lawyer and things like that from New York, and then in the Kane case, and I think now we're on our 20th and 21st attorneys in the case. And we had 7, you know, in the courtroom from 4 different law firms. You know, our appellate unit did extraordinary things to keep us when we're getting motions every night and dealing with and a small office, but this is a big burden for a lot of people, and that's why when I talk about the efforts and the Herculean effort by everybody, you know, it was extraordinary. And as I look around the room, you know, our communications director, Kate, she had to deal with the brunt of the media. I got to do my job, and she dealt with the masses as it went through. To enable us to do what we do as prosecutors, you know, when we looked at this case, you know, from the beginning and knew, you know, what the victim was saying, and then investigated it and got to all the corroborating evidence and moved through each step of the way, that it was the right thing to do, and that was justice. And it has been extraordinary in the aftermath. Our victim advocate for the state told me to step back and you know, look around at some of this, and we haven't been able to go many places where somebody hasn't come up and talked about how they were affected. And I focused a lot on the 62 people that came forward, but they've said no, it was about them, you know, because they've been victims. And now I hope, I pray that people know that nobody's above the law, and that people can come forward and they'll be treated with respect and dignity. You know, I'm so proud of my team. I'm so proud of court administration and everything that they went through in this to keep it at such a high level, and our court, who, you know, Judge Del Ritchie had to deal with a whole lot of stuff as it was going on, to let Judge O'Neill focus on the case, and we were able to keep what we needed to do in front of us. So I hope I've mentioned a lot of the great folks that, you know, have helped us to get to this point, and I thank you for this award. It means a lot to me, especially in whose name it is. And I have to accept it, though, not on behalf of myself, but on behalf of all those men and women in the office that I work with that do extraordinary things every day, and I hope that you are all as proud of them as I am. Thank you very much.
When I called Kevin to give him the award, actually played a little bit of phone tag, and I was thinking, I'm trying so hard to get in touch with him. Does he think I've done something and I need some special help from the town? I told him why I was trying to get him directly. And I said to him, Kevin, I know the speech you're going to give. You're going to say it's not about me, it's about my team and doing justice, and much of that is true. but the credit really does go to the top. So congratulations again. One point of order, if you might have noticed coming up the steps, we have pies. We have lots and lots of pies. Strelo Court Reporting had extra pies from the Legal Expo, so please, on your way, I'm not pushing anybody out, but when you do get on your way out, take a pie, courtesy of Strelo Court Reporting. So thank you again.
Parting gifts.
Thank you for coming.